Hey everybody, so today I want to talk about the manga cards in One Piece, and we're going to relate this to potential booster box price in the future. And we're going to start off by looking at the pop reports for PSA for basically all the sets. I think PRB 01 is the only set I didn't bring up. And it is only for PSA, which I wish if I had more time I would have brought up BGS and just tried to get a better idea of even like Tag and all the other companies, right? To get a better idea of in total how many mangas there are out there graded. But this should give us a decent idea, right? So for OP01, Romance Dawn, and this is English, by the way. I'm not looking at Japanese or any other language. In English, there's 1,022 copies of this card graded. 918 are 10s, by the way, which is an insanely high 10 rate on a card. In Pokemon, I think 50% is considered like high, right? And normally could be a lot lower, like 10, 15%, 20%. The card quality from Bandai is very, very good. And even after opening like 8 packs of One Piece, I knew like, yeah, these cards are much better. They feel sturdier, better quality. I do genuinely like them more than Pokemon cards in that aspect. But yeah, I mean, only 1,000 copies essentially of this card graded at PSA, 918 of them in a 10. And we'll talk about the end of the video why this matters. Next up, we have Paramount War, the Ace manga card, only 949 copies of this card graded at PSA. 852 are 10s, which again is just insane how many 10s there are in these One Piece cards. Just really, really good quality. Next up, we have Pillars of Strength, the Soga King. Only 795 copies, and 640 of them are 10s. Not the most popular manga. And honestly, when I look at the mangas, I really don't like the Shanks as much. And the reason for it is I think the character's just a bit too big. I kind of like in some of these later mangas, like maybe the Boa Hancock's a good one. The character's a bit smaller in it. The Goldie Roger also. You can kind of see all the mangas in every corner basically. Whereas when you look at the Shanks, there's nothing really on the bottom. It's kind of only like halfway up you start seeing the mangas. So I actually do prefer some of these older, or some of the newer mangas rather. But I mean, the Soga King, it is what it is. Next up, Kingdoms of Intrigue. 1,114 total graded, 981 are 10s. This is for the Sabo manga. Again, not the most popular character, but really only 1,000, less than 1,000 in a PSA 10. Next up, this is where things get interesting. So we have OP5, Awakening the New Era. You have the Monkey D. Luffy, 777 total graded. 698 are 10s. And this is the card in question, a very expensive card in English, selling for around $2,500 USD. But most recent sale from the end of March, 2,950 on TCG Player. Just wild. Very good card. Everyone wants this card, right, if you're a collector. And I mean, it's really expensive, guys. Let's be real. And there's not that many on the market. You also have the Captain, 572 in a 10, and then Trafalgar Law, 521 in a 10. And both of those, 651 and 576 totals, which is not large numbers at all. Very, very small numbers in the grand scheme of things. Also, I did bring up the Luffy signature, the Ichiro Odo card, the alternate art from OP05 as well, this one in question, because there's only 874 total graded, 794 in a 10, and I think this is a very good card as well, right? But the point I'm trying to get across, and we'll just zoom through the rest of these, the Tony Chopper from EBO1, only 440 total graded, 417 in 10s. We have the Zoro from Wings of the Captain. This card has 1,249 copies, which is a decent amount, 1,172 in a 10. And yeah, I mean, this is probably a more popular character, Zoro, so even though there's more copies than something like the Sabo from Kingdoms of Intrigue, this card is worth more out there, and that's kind of, foreshadowing what we're going to talk about. The Boa Hancock from OP07, 500 years in the future, 1,135 graded, 1,049 10s. This is the card in question. This card's actually been going up. TCG Player has it at 530, but most recent sales in near mints, 649, 635, 645 as well. Then we have the Silver's Rayleigh from Two Legends, 666, bad number, but 583 in 10s. And I didn't actually bring up the copy of that card, so sorry guys, but you know which one it is if you're a fan of One Piece. And then OP09, lots of mangas in OP09. You have the Monkey D. Luffy, you have Gold Roger, you have Teach, you have Buggy, and then you have the Shanks as well. And I mean, the Gold Roger, right? this is the most expensive card in One Piece that you can pull from a mainline set right now, sitting around $3,000-$4,000. Really depends on the day of the week, because there aren't that many out there. And if you look at the total graded, 136 graded. That's it. Only 136 at PSA. 120 of them were 10s, 14 were 9s, and 2 8s. That's it. 120 10s, guys. Really not that many for the most expensive card in One Piece right now that, again, you can pull from a booster box. And I want to compare this to base set Pokemon for a second. So if you look at this Charizard, there's 489 10s, and I think this is just the regular holo. The first edition one, you have 125 10s, so obviously a lot rare first edition. The Shadowless, you have 58 10s, and lots graded. Obviously, a lot of people back then didn't really assume that these cards were going to be something that was worth a ton, right? People kept these in their pockets. They didn't sleeve them up. They played with them, traded with them. That's great. And that's why there's such a large pop number and very low 10s amounts. Okay, so just humor me for a moment, guys. Say there's about 1,000 manga cards here. Because it's 990, we'll use 1,000, nice round number. And say only about 10% of cards get graded, right? So say there's essentially 10,000 manga cards out there. And I don't think that's an accurate number. It's probably much higher than that because we're not including BGS and all these other companies that have graded cards. But just say there's 10,000 manga cards out there. The pull rate on a manga card is about 1 in 3 cases. And I know some people would probably say that's low and say it's closer to 1 in 5 cases or 6 cases. Who knows what the real number is, but say 1 in 3 cases. If there's 10,000 manga cards and it's 1 in 3, that means 30,000 cases have been opened to get the pull rates to open all of these manga cards. 30,000 cases. If there's 12 booster boxes in a case, that's 360,000 booster boxes to pull all of these cards, right? That's a lot of booster boxes, especially for a set like OP9 that really didn't come out too long ago. And it's really difficult because Bandai's not giving us a ton of information on their print run, so it's difficult to tell how much is really out there. But I think there isn't as much One Piece sealed product out there as people think. And again, if we get to a place in this hobby where people really want to chase these cards, they want to get the Shanks from OP01, right? They want to pull this card. Well, these booster boxes of Romance Dawn, white bottom, blue bottom, it doesn't matter. They're going to start going up in price because these cards are not cheap, guys. They're really not that cheap. And if a lot of people come to the hobby and want to collect them, that's going to drive the price up. I mean, just look what happened with the Charizard cards, right? In 2020, 2021, when everyone was coming back into the hobby, these older vintage cards saw massive increases in price. Whereas now a lot of the the modern cards like the Moonbryon, the Giratina V from Lost Origin, a lot of those cards are very popular. But still, like the vintage saw a huge spike as people are coming back, and just nostalgia in general, right, was really driving a lot of that. And it's definitely not outside the realms of possibilities that could happen in One Piece, where you have potentially millions of people fighting over like 1,000 cards or 2,000 cards for some of these. Or even less, right? Like the Goldie Roger, only 120 PSA 10s. You don't think out of how big One Piece is in the world, there's not 120 people wanting a PSA 10 copy of the Goldie Roger, or 1,000 people that want a copy of that, or 10,000 people, right? Like it's gonna be competitive for some of these cards if we don't see an increase in how many are actually ending up being graded through these companies. And the reality is that's pretty unlikely considering how difficult it is to pull some of these cards and how tight Bandai's print runs have been. And if all of this comes true, and that really is the case when we look at some of these manga cards, I mean, the Roger up top, the Gold Roger, OP09, you have the Luffy, OP05, then you have the Shanks from OP01, you have some PRB01 reprints in here, you also have another OP09 Luffy in here, another OP09 card, the Teach. So really, when you look at these sets, you kind of see some commonalities, right? Some things that are the same. OP09 comes up a lot. Then you have the OP05, which was reprinted in PRB01, and then you have the Shanks up top from OP01 as well. So my eyes are always going to be on Romance Dawn. First set, it has one of the most expensive mangas. Then you have OP05, which has the second most expensive card, the Luffy, and a couple other cards in there as well, like the stamped, where is it over here? The stamped alternate art card. There you go, of Ichiro Oda in there. And then you have Emperors in the New World, OP09, that has the Gold Roger. You have some of these other mangas as well. And a lot of boxes, guys, have already been ripped. I mean, just statistically, it has to be a fairly large number. Again, you could argue that assuming only 10% of cards get graded is like way too low or something, or that there's more mangas out there. So the number would fluctuate depending on what type of conclusion you come to based on those numbers. But it's a large amount of boxes, right? Because these are very difficult cards to pull. So I think these are going to be some of the most expensive boxes in the future. We really do need to keep an eye out too. OP5 is still in rotation, but if it doesn't get another reprint, I mean, these boxes will just continue climbing. And then Romance Dawn, I doubt we get any more of that. OP01's long gone at this point, moving out of rotation. OP09, I imagine we're going to get more of this. I mean, it's been out for what, like 5 months, 6 months, something like that. So it'll be in rotation a long time. But you guys let me know in the comments down below what you think. Like always, again, if you got some value out of this content, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with a friend. Helps out a ton. We're just getting started, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.